Welcome to Engaging Aging. I'm Erin DiCarlo.
And I'm Lauren Watts.
We believe life gets richer with age, and we're here to prove it.
We bring you real conversations about aging well, living fully, and navigating this journey with confidence.
So let's dive in, because aging isn't something to endure, it's something to embrace.
Hi there, and welcome back to our podcast series, Selling Your Longtime Home for Top Dollar with Ease. This is episode 4. I'm Lauren Watts, and today's episode is such an important one because we are going to be talking about your journey and why this shouldn't be a solo one. We're going to dive into the partnerships and how those can really impact you. So whether you've lived in your home for 10 years or 50, deciding to sell it is so much more than just about signing papers and putting up a for sale sign. It's personal, it's emotional, and let's be honest, it is so overwhelming. But here's what I want to say to you from the very beginning. You don't have to do this alone. And in fact, you shouldn't. So I'm here to talk about why. One, I think that the emotional load is real. I can't tell you how many times I've sat in a client's living room and watched them look around and not knowing what they're going to do first. Not because they don't have the physical ability to do it, but because the memories are so thick in the air that surrounds them. This is where their kids grew up. It's where they spent their holidays. It's where life happened for them. Maybe it's where they lost their spouse. There are so many areas or reasons as to why their home has made it their home for so many years. And I think that that emotional weight is so valid, and oftentimes it can feel really heavy. And so if you try and do this all alone, you're not just packing boxes, you're sorting memories, you're processing grief, you're carrying the mental and the emotional labor of an entire chapter. That's a lot. So that's why having a trusted team is really crucial to you throughout this transition and throughout the process of selling your long-time home. In a lot of our episodes, we have referred to professionals, 3, 2, 1. In a lot of our episodes, we have referred to professionals like senior and specialty move managers, real estate advisors, transition planners, financial advisors, legal and estate planning attorneys, all of the people that are part of your process and should be part of your process to help you carry the weight. Again, not just physically, but emotionally too. These are the professionals that are in their different silos that regardless of what's happening, there are going to be different parts of the timeline where you're going to need to bring them in. And let's be honest, when we're overwhelmed and we don't know what to do and we are doing this on our own, it can actually derail our progress. Let me ask you this. Have you ever walked into a room without cleaning it and left it without touching a single thing? 3, 2, 1. I think what happens is oftentimes when we are overwhelmed, we can actually derail our progress. Let me give you a perfect example. Have you ever walked into a room to clean it? And you walk in, you look around, and you actually turn around and you leave without touching anything? That is because it feels too much. We oftentimes in our conversations talk about that means boiling the ocean. We look at something, we try and go in and we try and conquer it all on our own without having a plan and tackling it in manageable bites. We're boiling the ocean. We're taking on too much. And we hear it all of the time. I just don't know where to start. It could be the closets, it could be the boxes in the basement, it could be the photos in the paper. The overwhelm becomes a reason for us to not take action. And so the longer it sits, the heavier it gets. So that's why we as an organization believe in breaking it down and taking it in manageable bites. And that goes along with working with the right professionals to help you through this process as well. We cannot go at this alone and do this by ourselves. And so just sometimes starting with one aspect or one component and feeling really good about that, maintaining our autonomy and making those decisions can actually help us build that momentum and drive us forward. And then the process starts to build. I also think that there is so much when you start to think about selling your longtime home. There's a lot at stake, right? Financially and otherwise. Selling your longtime home is probably one of the largest financial decisions of your life. And so it really deserves some serious planning, some expert guidance, and thoughtful execution. So when we try and go at it alone, especially without current market insights and expertise or pricing strategy or tax implications of selling our home and not fully understanding all of that, it can really cost us dearly at the end of the day. Unfortunately, as part of what we do, we have seen a lot of people leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table simply because they didn't know what they didn't know. And that's why we are here and find it so important to provide you with this education so that you can truly avoid any financial pitfalls. Something what a lot of people don't realize until it's too late is that selling your longtime home can have tax implications, capital gains, exemptions, timing strategies. Talking to our trusted financial advisor and our CPAs before we list can actually help us avoid missing opportunities to protect our assets, or even worse, to trigger any unnecessary tax consequences or things that may come up as part of the process. We often say sometimes the real estate process of how things are done are a little bit backwards, and oftentimes we're not finding out about these complications until the end. However, if we have the right professionals in place, as soon as we figure that out, they're ready to go, and we're not losing any time on moving that process forward with clarity and with ease. So my main focus of all of this is that you need a plan to understand what comes next, so that we can really make sure that you feel good about this transaction and your transition, and that the right professionals are setting you up for success. A lot of times we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what questions we need to ask. And so really kind of putting out there what our financial and legal and estate planning situation is and what our goals are, these professionals are going to be able to help us accomplish this goal sooner rather than later. One of the biggest mistakes that we see is people selling their home before they know where they're going. Not only does this create panic, but it creates unnecessary pressure and it creates unnecessary stress. And so that's why we guide people to not put their house on the market immediately and do this backwards, but to really stop and take a moment, to pause and take a breath, and to understand, where are you going next? What does your next home look like for you? We can't effectively put a plan together to sell your home until we actually know that. And so it's really important to ask yourself, am I right sizing to a smaller home or a condo? Am I thinking about moving in with family? Am I thinking about renting on a monthly basis? Or am I thinking about moving to a senior living community, a lifestyle option, something that's going to give me what I feel as though I'm missing? Are you downsizing to make your life more manageable? So the importance is let's gain clarity on that first. Then we can create a timeline that works backward from your move in date to make sure that everything is set up for success and you have the right professionals in place for you. At Dovetail, we often help our clients move first and then prepare and list their home for sale. We call this our move first, sell later approach, and we've referenced it in a lot of our other podcast and training opportunities, and there's a reason behind that. And that's because this is such a more peaceful approach that allows you to make decisions with a clear head rather than from a place of urgency and overwhelm. So, if I can give you some advice today, it's really don't overlook starting the process and meeting with your legal and financial planning guides. The people in your life, whether you have them today or you need someone to give you that expert insight and guidance, this is where you need to start. Most times when we meet with our clients, we will halt the home selling process if they don't have legal and financial plans in place. The other things to consider as part of this is asking yourself, is your home held in a trust? Or do I have an estate plan? Do I have joint ownership with someone in this home? Do I have my power of attorney documents in place? All of these are essential components to think about when you're working with an estate planning or real estate attorney, because there are so many times that we have seen real estate closings delayed or even fall apart entirely because the necessary documents weren't in order. So working with a legal professional before listing ensures that your property can legally and smoothly transfer ownership when that time comes. It also is going to protect your interest, your wishes, and ultimately your legacy. And lastly, you really just deserve that expert help. For most of our clients, they have not purchased or sold a home in 30, 40, 50 plus years. The real estate component and transaction and process has changed so much over time, not to mention the way that we plan and support this transition as well. And so you deserve that expert help and guidance along the way. And there's a human side to this, right? Selling your longtime home is not just a business transaction. If it is, you're probably working with the wrong person. This is a life transition. And so you deserve the professionals who don't just do the job well, but they do the job with heart. At Dovetail, we don't want to just sell your home. We want you to feel seen, to feel heard, and to feel supported along the way. And so we feel as though the professionals that you're connecting with should be doing that for you as well. And this really means sitting beside you, not standing above you. It means listening before acting. It means creating a process that reflects your values and your vision. It means you being a part of the process as much as you want to be part of this process and making sure that this is executed with ease for you. Bringing the right professionals into your sphere to support you throughout all of this is meant to just elevate that experience for you. It's not meant to take anything away. If you're that type of person that is just yes, I hired you, I'm going to let you control that, that's okay too. You are in the driver's seat of this process, and that is the beautiful thing. So if you are here trying to tackle this on your own, I really hope that today's episode has offered you a breath of relief. And for you to walk away from this knowing that you don't have to carry this alone. And quite honestly, you shouldn't. There is support out there that's both professional and personal and engaging and can really help you take this in manageable bites so that you don't feel as though you're overwhelming and boiling the ocean at the end of the day.
Thank you for joining us today. We love having these conversations, and we hope they sparked something for you too.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and share it with your community, because together we can change the way the world sees aging.
You can find us at dovetailcompanies.com or on any of our social media channels at Dovetail Companies.
And just a quick note, the opinions shared in this podcast are those of our guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Engaging Aging, Dovetail Companies, or our team.
So until we see you next time, keep engaging with aging.